Welcome everybody to the world of Q&Asa, where the past, present and future of gaming all converge and we talk about games and stuff. What have I done? What's wrong? Something doesn't feel right. Something doesn't feel quite right. Not to matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's live now. This is a show that is just a big conversation where we talk about games and stuff like that. Talk to me, talk to each other. Just a big back and forth conversation, and it's nice and relaxed. But conversation's not good enough for you. If you need attention, then you can throw money at the internet and do the whole super chat thing. You can jump on Discord through the Gaming Arcadia Discord server. You can, at some point in the show, the Q&A box will appear and you can stick things in there, whatever you want in there. At the end of the show, we go through all of those. That's it. That's how the show works. So let's talk about some stuff, shall we? Let's talk about some stuff. I don't know what's going on. Something's missing. Something is definitely not quite right. It's probably me. But that's every week. I'm always here. I'm never quite right. So that's standard. That's standard. What's everyone been playing? It's how this show always starts. We talk about what we've been playing. Then, if I can be asked, we talk about some other various topics and things that have been going on, the stuff around the gaming sphere that people are talking about. I find myself progressively less and less interested in the stuff that's being talked about. So we'll see we'll see how that goes. But games. I love talking about games. I've just been playing Concord with Demon Hunter. And that's probably very likely to be the last time I'm ever going to play Concord. It's not Demon Hunter's fault. He was very friendly, very capable, a host for the game, and made it less miserable than it otherwise would have been. But I don't want to be really disparaging, because the game seems to do quite a few things quite well. I was playing it on the PC, visually very crisp, very solid. The developers clearly understand the importance of things like character silhouettes and stuff like that you might not think about when sticking together a first-person shooter. Everything is very immediately recognizable in that game, and I appreciate that. But also, it's really slow. Like it took me back how slow it was when I started it, and I wasn't playing one of the tank characters that are notoriously slow. I was playing the more agile characters, and they plod along at a very lackadaisical pace for a firefight. And this might be like, I've been playing a lot of Doom this week, and Doom is a fast game, so the contrast might be making this hit me a little bit harder, but it plays really slow. Demon Hunter pointed out, pacing wise, it feels a bit like Valorant and things like that. But in Valorant, which is a game I do like but don't really play, in Valorant you tread carefully, and a single shot can be the end of your game. Like it's a lot more tense. The gunplay is paced very differently. So in Valorant, the slower walking kind of makes sense. It feels like a fit for what's going on in the game. But in Concord, again, it's a little unfair to go off the back of Doom and go into Concord. But in Concord, it feels like I want to be faster and I want everything to explode. And that's not how it works. Part of this is my being terrible. I'm terrible at Concord. I'm terrible at all the multiplayer games. And part of that, I like to tell myself that the biggest part of that is that I just don't play any of them enough to get any good at them. But I'm not inherently just bad at everything. But it could be that I'm just inherently bad at everything. I used to be quite good at Quake 3 Arena once upon a time, and I hold on to that. I cherish that and think, yeah, I can shoot stuff. I've got everything it takes to shoot and make people die. But there are not many multiplayer games that I play and feel that to be true. That's sad, because I want to play more. I do want to play more. And I do wonder if I were to actually commit to playing one of these games and put the tens and hundreds of hours into them to actually learn what I'm doing, maybe I'd have more fun. But who has tens or hundreds of hours to play anything? It's very difficult. Very difficult. Anyway, Gaming Arcadia, you've been playing Concord, I know you have. You're getting back into CS2, Counter-Strike 2, since you got a new mouse? Does it make you a better player? Gaming with passion. What mouse did you have before? You mentioned while I was playing with you that you've got Logitech something or other with the light speed connection and 40,000 DPI and maybe the best buttons in the universe. I don't know. I've got a Logitech. You asked while we were playing what I've got. I've got one of the like Logitech Hero something or other line of mice. It's not very new. It's a wired mouse because I don't know why. It just bloody is sharp. Wires are fine. And it's reasonably comfortable. Has some reasonable buttons. I almost tempted myself to buy a more button-heavy mouse when I was going through my Final Fantasy XIV phase. The suffering from Concord has messed with my senses. Everything's perfect. Picture and sound are good. I don't know. I'm not convinced, Chronic. Not convinced. I wasn't almost on time. I know I wasn't almost on time because at 7:05 I went, oh shit, I've not put the stream up and I've not got myself a drink yet. So then I put the stream up, left that running for too long. I say for too long because the music that plays before the show starts always gets flagged for copyright. Whole stream gets demonetized and I miss out on absolutely zero money because these streams don't actually make any money. So it's alright. It's alright. You had a Logitech G602, same shape as mine but wireless, yeah. Yeah, I like this shape of mouse. Is your current one a similar shape or is it a revamped shape? My other problem, my go-to excuse for shooting games at the moment is reasonably valid. In that I've got nothing like a remotely comfortable desk position to actually have a keyboard and mouse while I'm playing on my treat of a TV. Anyway, tell me more stuff. Tell me what you've been playing, because like I say, I played Concord, but I can't say that much about it because I'm not a big Overwatch connoisseur and I'm not that into any competitive game at the moment. I tried after I finished, and I'll get back to this in a minute, but I finished the campaign for Doom 2016. And I thought, you know, I'm going to have a little look at what the multiplayer looks like just to familiarize myself, just to figure out what's wrong with it. Because I'm running around Doom with my super shotgun and my Gorse rifle or whatever it's called. And I'm having a great time and it feels like Quake. In the good way, in the way that I remember Quake feeling brilliant. The shotgun feels great. The rifle thing is feeling like a railgun. And playing it, I felt very capable. Everything was dying before me. And I was thinking, maybe this having it as an arena game, and Doom Eternal has like an asymmetrical nonsense mode that I don't enjoy, but Doom 2016 tried to do arena play, and I thought it must feel good with these weapons. Like it can't be that far wrong because the game feels nice to play, and now I've got it running fast. I'm going to give it a go, and I did. And I was initially very impressed by the depth and breadth of customization you have for your character. Gives you a little pop-up saying they've changed it since it launched. They've combined all of the additional content that came with the DLC packs, and they've laid out or relayed all of the kind of progression through to get all of those cosmetics and stuff unlocked. But I had a look at it and it's got really nice options, because I'm so familiar with like the Fortnite Concord method of grind or pay to unlock a new costume. And Doom has, you can grind and you can unlock some different pieces, but the options you have around how to like color them and combine them, it made Halo look silly. It really, like, it's so good how you can customize it. I was like, maybe this is fun, and I went into it. I didn't go into a proper game. I didn't test the waters to see if there were real players still playing Doom 2016, because there's probably not. It wasn't like that well received, the multiplayer, at the point that the game came out. But I jumped in with some bots just to have a look at it, and then it became very apparent why it wasn't popular, because it has all of the really good feel of the guns and the rifles is replaced by some weird hollow sounding reverb centric dodgy shotgun, and every time you shoot someone it pops up a little number to say how much damage you've done, like you did 20 with the rifle, you did 65 with the shotgun, and it looked a bit crap like that. So that was a shame. Notice you, I can see you. Is it so shady as well? Demons have invaded the UAC Mars base. Yeah, so the background today is Doom 3, which I haven't played for a very, very long time. Not since it came out. I've not even dabbled with the VR version of it yet, because I figured I should do the earlier Doom games before I get to this one. It's Doom 2016 though that I've been playing, pancake mode. and loving very much. I can't actually remember when I recorded this background. Obviously I fired up Doom 3 to capture it at some point, but Gaming with Passion, you really want to play Doom 3 VR. Sad that Doom 2016 does not have a VR mod. Yeah, I was weird when I was playing through Doom 2016 as well, because there was a Doom VR game. There was a time before Microsoft bought Bethesda where they made like VR versions of everything, to varying degrees of success. And Doom VFR was not one of their best efforts, because what they could have done is given you the whole of Doom 2016 as a VR game. What they did instead was they took certain areas from it, certain levels, certain arenas, closed them up and stuck you in there in VR and let you do something different and try to tell vaguely a unique story. But it was weird to go through the Pancake game and go, oh, I remember running around here in the VR one not long ago. This bit was really bloody difficult in VR. That's neat. Doom 3 in VR would be epic. So Shady, Doom 3 in VR was one of the first like Pancake to VR mods that came about. So I think they did that. I think they did that before the commercial Rift came out. I think you could play Doom 3 on the developer kits, but you could definitely play it on the Rift when it came out. And it was supposed to be very, very good. You can also play it natively on a Quest 2 or a Quest 3, and it's Doom 3 in VR, just played with maximum convenience. And they've polished it off and made sure the cutscenes don't break the experience and all of that kind of thing. So I should do that at some point. Gaming with Passion, you should do that at some point. There's a mod for it now. I don't think there is a mod for Doom 2016. Chronic, I could be wrong, but I've not seen any VR mods for like id Tech games. Obviously you can mod everything that's Unreal Engine, but I've not seen anything id Tech. Be nice if I'm wrong, because I wouldn't mind giving it a go. It would be difficult, like that game would be difficult in VR. But I'm not scared of a little difficulty. I'll get blown up a few times. Gaming question, you bought VFR and it was hard to even make it work on a Quest 3 controller. Yeah. So you are talking about a game that was a casualty of the legal issues between John Carmack and ZeniMax. So Doom VFR did not support and does not support Oculus hardware properly. At some point they made it better than it used to be. When it came out it literally wouldn't launch. But this is because when John Carmack left ZeniMax, they accused him of taking trade secrets that they owned and taking them over to Meta, and they refused to make all of their games work at all on Meta's hardware, or Oculus's hardware as they probably were at the time. Awesome atmosphere in Doom 3. You had the newer games. You enjoy the newer games much more, but Doom 3 was something special. Yeah, it's funny because Doom 3 wasn't necessarily like really well received for its move into horror. Doom 2016 did a better job of capturing what people kind of remembered from Doom 1 and 2, and to a lesser extent Doom 64. But an awful lot of people look back on Doom 3 with a lot of fondness. Like, actually, it was a really good game. I wonder if people will like ever feel that way about Quake 4. Because Quake 4 did a similar thing. It took Quake in a different direction to what Quake 1, 2 and 3 didn't really have a campaign, but Quake 1 and 2 had done before them. Went with its own style. Anyway, there's also the old Prey in VR. You don't remember a lot about it, but you played with it. Yeah, Prey's supposed to be really good in VR. If anyone ever played, not the Prey that, not the space station one, like the reboot of Prey, which was supposed to be good in its own right, and actually that had some official VR mode, not the whole campaign, but had a VR multiplayer mode or some nonsense like that. But the original Prey that had all of the portals and the ceiling walking and all of that kind of stuff. You can play that natively on the Quest as well. And that's supposed to be like going through a portal and appearing on a weird moon thing and walking on ceilings and all that stuff is supposed to be quite something there as well. When it launched, the graphics were mind-blowing. Do you know, it's just the light. And old games like that can still look really good. The ones that had this really bold moving shadows and lights, it had that in their engine very effectively, and they still do. Like, you can play a current Doom and the lighting is still gorgeous, but there was a period of time where devs seemed obsessed with just capturing that high contrast shadows from like big fan grates and stuff like that, just casting through the environment, like red alarm lights swirling and just cascading round as they swirled this red light around the room. It's the kind of stuff that should be really demanding, and it will remain demanding as we go through all our like ray tracing quirks and all the rest of it. But it looked really good back in those days, however they were doing it, whatever magic trick they were doing. Doom 3 had brilliant lighting. So yeah, you're not wrong, So Shady, you are not wrong. Chronic, you just posted the possible Doom 2016 VR mod in Discord general chat. I can't get to that at the moment, but I will look at it. I uninstalled Doom yesterday. You should have posted it yesterday, damn it. Chronic? No, that's cool. I can reinstall things. So I played obviously I played Doom 2016 campaign from start to finish. Finished it last night. I love that game. That's so much fun. So much fun. It ends a little bit abruptly, and the jump between 2016 and Eternal is a bit without finishing Eternal, I don't really know how they fit together in that way. But I will, because playing Doom Eternal right through to the end of the Ancient Gods Part 2, that's that's one of my next plans. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. The lighting and the new texture tech were insane for the time. Just James, how's it going? Yeah. id Tech have had a history of quite revolutionary features in their engines. And obviously they had their whole mega texture thing with Rage and stuff like that didn't quite hit so well, but then you play these most recent Doom games and get a feel for performance and visuals that they can still put out. Good run, they had a good run. Hopefully next Doom will also be brilliant. I'm also, so Doom Year Zero, whatever it's called. What do they end up calling it? I keep forgetting the name of the bloody game. You all know the one I mean, the Dark Ages one. Is it called the Dark Ages? It might be called that. Doom the Dark Ages, that's what it's called from now on. Where he's got his spinny shield and all the rest of it. That, from what I gather, from what they've said about it, should feel more like Doom 2016 than like Doom Eternal, which is to my benefit. Lethal Migraine Doom gives you motion sickness. Do other first-person shooters give you motion sickness? For some people it's very dependent on the field of view. So you might, I don't know if a narrow field of view or a wide field of view is of benefit there. But obviously it is also very fast as games go, so that might not help. And yeah, I understand why you hate VR as much as you do now, if first-person shooters also make you sick. Probably don't have much of a hope with a headset on your face. Yeah. But no, I love playing Doom. Just James, you've been playing Final Fantasy XIV and you're level 70 on one skill. Plowing through the levels now. What's the cap now? And are you finding that your level is way outpacing the actual content that you have to do to get through the expansions? GoldenEye made your head spin quick. GoldenEye also had the significant disadvantage of running at like between 12 and 30 frames per second. So it would have had whatever, yeah, head bob can make a big difference. Camera sway, shake and stuff like that. And Joe, so it's a narrow field of view that does it for you. That's what I was thinking, that more people suffer with the narrower field of view than with the wider one. But stuff like Doom is obviously, it's configurable. If you're at least on the PC, I don't know if the Xbox version has the field of view slider. Might do. Can help yourself a lot. James, you're on MSQ50. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but I believe you. Cap is 100. Cap is 100. That'll take bloody ages. I had an email this week as well about World of Warcraft's their War Within pre-patch. So before every major expansion for World of Warcraft, you get like a month or two of hype content towards it, leading into the expansion that's available for everyone. And their pre-patch for the War Within, so I say hype content, it's not just hype content. They update the game to have all the new systems that are coming in the expansion. So if there are class changes and new skills and things like that, that impact the lower levels that you've already attained, then all of that kind of stuff comes into play. And they emailed to say that the pre-patch starts on the 24th. I already own a War Within, pre-ordered it ages ago, don't know why, but I did. Not sure if I'm going to play that, not sure if I'm going to play Final Fantasy. Both are fairly daunting and kind of exciting in their own right. So episode 13, it's been a little while. How goes it? Have you managed to play anything, or are you still on Call of Duty? Call of Duty counts. You can confess to it and I won't judge you. When you hit 100, you're just going to do another skill. All your other ones are 50. So, and you'll have all the bonus XP for, yeah, okay. So you've still got a lot of questing to do to catch up on the story. Is it, James, now that you've got past the Realm Reborn stuff, has it stepped up and become a lot more kind of gripping and interesting as the storytelling goes? Because that's what everyone says about that game. But I've not got as far as the expansions. Never seen them to know how good they are or aren't. So what else was I talking about? Played Doom. Doom was cool. Played a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just the one little session. The only stream that I managed to do this week prior to today was a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Didn't get a lot done though, so not too much to say about that. Just a couple of the side quests, which are not the strength of that game. It's still early on, but from 50, the trials are better. Trials are better. Oh, I remember the trials. Yeah, they're like the main story beat instance things, aren't they? Painful Discourse. You went back to finish Redfall. Why? The newest last final patch didn't make it easier to find some of the hidden items. So when you say finish Redfall, do you mean like actually get all of the achievements and stuff? That's bold. I don't hate Redfall, but I don't love it either. Redfall's a funny one actually because its visual, like aesthetic, was desperate for the kind of lighting that I was talking about Doom having 100 years ago. Desperate for it. Because it had quite striking colours and spotlights all over the place, but they were not dynamic. They were all just painted on static things. There were a couple of exceptions. I think one of the characters has a little robot thing that had a siren on its head, and that could light the environment up quite at times, but dynamic and static lights don't mix that well. Redfall needed like giant ominous shadows when you stood in front of a spotlight, and it would have looked so much better. Wouldn't have fixed the problems with like vampires just getting stuck in an idle pose or whatever else may have been wrong with that game, which I don't deny it had its problems. But the Beer Baron, if they took all the skills from the 4 Redfall characters and put them all into one character, it would have been a 10 times better game. I might believe that. I've not got that many buttons on my controller. I played that one on an Xbox controller. I played it on the PC because I had the opportunity to, but I did play on a controller, and I played the character with the purple like umbrella skills and stuff like that. I found those skills to be fairly useless in the way they were set up in the game. Wanted to use them a lot more than actually became worth using, but the patch did make it easier, and the AI is much better. Oh, it made it easier to find all the secret stuff. Fair enough. Fair enough. I can't see myself downloading it again. You never know, when I run out of games. Hinterberg looks fun. I don't think Hinterberg does look fun, but I hear people say that it's good. Dungeons of Hinterberg and Flintlock and Path of the Goddess all came out this week. Flintlock hasn't been massively well received because apparently it doesn't perform well on like any platform except possibly Steam, and even then not ideal. Where's my TV turned off? But you like cell shaded. It's not that it's cell shaded that I don't like it. I'm going to find actually the original trailers that put me off it in the first place. Bear with if you want to. Resky, you recently finished up? You finished up Flintlock? That was quick. It only came out like 5 minutes ago. Did you enjoy it? Or are you just a completionist like nut that gets through every game that comes out as quickly as possible? That's wildly quick. Bring up Dungeons of Hinterberg. Dungeons of Hinterberg. I want one of the older trailers, not one of the most recent ones, because this is what put it off. I'm going to go for the announced trailer. Because some of this might be unfair to criticize, right? I like the art style's fine. I got no problem with the cel shaded stuff. The comic dots that I don't really know the origin story of, but they're a common feature of Hi-Fi Rush and other kind of comic styled games, right? Environments are nice and colorful. This is all fine. Not that riveting, but fine enough. The combat looks all kinds of basic, but you never know. Maybe it's more fun than it looks. What got me though is the puzzles look wank, and the city parts of the game looked wank, because it's not going to do it. This is the wrong trailer, but it gets into conversations with the characters, and everything that they said. It's the wrong bloody trailer. Everything they said made me go, oh, that's exceptionally dull for the dialogue that you've chosen to highlight in a trailer, but that was the wrong trailer. So don't mind me, I'm going to find a different one. Dungeons of Hinterberg trailer, not the announce. Might be this social gameplay reveal. Here we go, here we go. No questions yet. We don't need questions actually. I'm alright, because I'm not saying don't put questions in. If you want to, you're very welcome to, but don't feel pressured to, because actually the shorter this show is, the more games I'll get to play, so that's alright, you know, that's alright. I've got no time for playing games, so clawing some of that back is not a bad thing. This looks boring. This looks boring. I appreciate it boring. Welcome to Hinterberg, super interesting. We're going to explore the village tonight. I'll take a stroll. It's about time I have a look around. This is... I can't. And that's obviously, this is like a trailer and it's a really harsh judgment, but there was another trailer that they did a little bit later on that showed some of the more puzzle-based gameplay, where you're like aligning tubes and lights or whatever. You know, not every game is for me. This game is not for me. And I say that having not played it. Maybe I'll play it and I'll go, oh, I was wrong, this game's brilliant. This kind of puzzle, boring. Carrots are getting wrecked, okay, that's fine. Look at that, run faster, damn it. No. 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 I should play it. It doesn't look that bad, actually. This looks bad. I don't want relationships with Travis or whatever, but I don't want to grow a relationship with that guy to get one more magic point. Nah. Nah, I'm not going to play it. Decided. Or at the very least, it's not high on my list. So, in the Flintlock and Path of the Goddess, whatever it's called, I'm going to play that one first. I call it Katsunagami, but that's not actually having read it or recalled the name correctly. So whatever it is actually called, I'm going to play that at some point. And if someone did post a question before ban warning, wait, who's getting banned? No one's getting banned. Oh, I see. Hyla said that. No, it's all good. You can ask questions. This is relaxed, and we talk for as long as it's fun to talk. I'm just saying, I don't mind if everyone gets bored and wants to do other things, then so be it. So be it. I'm going to pour my drink. What am I talking about? What are you talking about? I want to read what Painful Discourse has said. You're waiting for Flintlock to be patched a bit. People were hinting at a lot of glitches. Shame Ashen never got a 60 frames per second upgrade. Only 4K to the 1X. I've never played Ashen. Some people definitely liked it. That's the martial artsy one, right? Kind of part Souls, part martial arts. Might be completely misremembering what it is, but none of the characters have faces, right? 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 Gaming with passion. Do I like games similar to Battlefield? I should look at Delta Force. No, I hate Battlefield. I love Battlefield and I hate Battlefield. I like games that are like Quake 3. That's my kind of shooting. Battlefield, so I say I love it and I hate it. Battlefield is spectacular and I love to look at it and see cool things happening. I love the concept of Battlefield, and I love it. The older one, like Battlefield 4, when you had all the good destruction and stuff, which for some reason seems a bit toned down in the more recent one. But I love the idea of Battlefield, all the helicopters and tanks and people running around and fun things like that. But when it actually comes to playing it, my experience of it is I run around for 10 minutes looking for the action and then a sniper shoots me in the back of the head. Or worse, I run around for 10 minutes and then a fucking aeroplane drops a bomb on me or something stupid like that. I find it very difficult to scratch beneath the surface and actually be meaningfully involved in a game of Battlefield. It's the weird... what's the word? My brain's gone mush. It's like an inverse correlation between fun and number of players that goes against what you would expect it to be. Because you'd expect you get loads and loads of players in a game. Like, there's 64 players on each team. There's 500 players on each team. There's 1,000 players on each team. And the bigger the number is, the more spectacle you have, but the less fun I have. Because the less it feels like you're actually doing anything. So it's like you stick me in a 4-player game. Like obviously the ultimate is a one-on-one. You go into Quake 3 Arena and you do a one-on-one game. And it is tense, and it is you versus one other human being, and one of you is going to be better than the other or whatever. One of you is going to control the arena. And I don't necessarily like that level of pressure on a constant basis, but that is cool. I like it. My ideal kind of number, I think, lands at about 4 versus 4, where you still got like some teamwork and a little, like the social side of it brought in, I suppose. But everything that you do matters quite a lot. And as you grow beyond that, you can go into like 12 versus 12 in Halo. You do big team battle in Halo, and I don't feel it matters a great deal if I'm holding my controller or not. I can put my controller down and there's a fair chance that the team will still win. And that becomes ever more true the more you scale it up. So you get a game of Battlefield 4, and it's like you got a 50-50 chance of winning whether you hold the controller or not. You barely have any impact on what is happening, and that might not be true for the people that get beneath the surface and feel like they're, I don't know, doing bits in their aeroplanes and helicopters. But for me, like, put my controller down, wait 15 minutes, and then it's like, congrats, you won. Cool, thanks. Or actually try really damn hard, feel like I'm making some progress, not get blown up by tanks and helicopters, play the objectives, get some shit done. You lost. Okay, cool. So Battlefield 2042 is also good now. You played Battlefield 1 a lot. It's episode 13. I know that you like them, and they are works of art. They, like, the spectacle is always there. DICE are a phenomenal studio, so the games come out, even 2042, like, it came out a buggy mess. They're an impressive studio that make these things look good. They're just not so much mine. I prefer, so my ideal, I've said many times before, my ideal first-person shooters are probably like 4 versus 4. No, that's not even necessarily true, but they don't have anybody wearing camouflage. My opponents are bright green robots that make audibly distinct noises as they move around so that I can tell who's on my team and who isn't just by listening. Because that's what I had in Quake, and I will never let it go. In Quake, all of my characters, they had a certain skin, so I could hear, like, they had quite human-y footsteps and quite distinct. I had Uriel. If you played the game, I had Uriel as my team, and I know Uriel's jumping noise. I can't replicate it because I don't have the vocal capacity to do impressions, but I had all my team with Uriel and I could understand Uriel just fine. And all of the opponents were Kill or Tank Junior, who had metallic feet, so you could hear them conk everywhere. And I didn't need to look. I knew where everyone was in Quake 3 Arena. That's what I want in a modern day shooter. You don't get that anywhere. You don't get that anywhere. Footsteps are not distinct anymore. They're not allowed to be. Tony, you sent your question in. Hopefully I get it. That means you're on your phone. Thank you for doing that. Tony, you'll notice that I have scheduled Battle Block Theatre. I know you weren't so sure on your timings. So if it turns out you can't make it, it's fine. Relax. It's cool. I should host a Quake 3 community match. Yeah, but then I'll be like... Oh, I swear I used to be good at this. Believe me, everybody. I know I'm missing everything and losing, but just trust me. It's actually, I played a lot of the 3-wave mod, and you can still set up a server with 3-wave. Do you know, I think it was called 3-wave Counter-Strike. But whatever. Yes, Isla, I like the thumbnail you made for Battle Block Theatre. It is perfect, and might get used more than once, because that's a longer game, I think. You can also, Gaming with Passion, play Quake 3 Arena in VR. And it's a very different experience because Quake 3 Arena had an unusual system of movement. You can do that in VR if you're a complete nutcase. But I don't. I play it more like if you saw someone in Quake 3 Arena and they weren't bunny hopping correctly, then they were a new player. That's how I play Quake 3 Arena in VR. Very much grounded. Very much grounded, and running speed is the limit. No strafe jumping. But it's awesome to see Quake 3 Arena in that mode. So I wanted to set up, just for shits and giggles, not anything remotely competitive, I wanted to set up a Quake 3 Arena mixed VR and pancake mode server with the 3-wave mod. And just get people in there and playing it for fun. But realistically, it wouldn't get played more than once. I'd be running around that server on my own, so I did not set it up. COD is wank, but you enjoy it. Fair enough, episode 13. You've been playing it loads, but the movement ruins that game. It's so stupid. Yeah, probably. I hear a lot of people complain about the high-level players with their... It's not just... I like a game that has quite dynamic movement. I like the slides that they introduce. You can bounce off the walls and whatever. That's fine. That can be fun. The thing that makes Call of Duty movement look so awful in all the clips and things that I've seen is that so much of it is based on not like the as intended movement systems, but the exploiting weird animation glitches kind of movement. Like well-designed movement systems. You can do wall running, you can do the Titanfall stuff. That's cool, that's fun. It can be hard to track, it can make it difficult to shoot stuff, but whatever. If it feels good, it feels good. But then you've got the Call of Duty movement styles where it's like if you slide and you perform a reload and cancel the reload in the 4th rank and then jump, then you're moving this bizarre way where people can't really shoot you, and that becomes the meta game of like mastering ways that the animations are fucked up. And that, nah. So Halo Infinite is my favorite of the current kind of shooters because it has, I can't get the sounds that I want, like everyone's got the same model and audio, but I can make my enemies bright green and the shooting feels really good. So I do like Halo Infinite. Not good at it, don't play it enough to be good at it. Don't know if I could potentially get good at it, but I have a massive aversion of playing with strangers, and that kind of hinders me greatly from actually learning any of these games. COD is a poor man's Titanfall. COD came first and then the dev team left Activision to form Respawn. That is true. The good part of Infinity Ward, that's disrespectful to the people that are still there, but the founders of Infinity Ward and a bunch of their staff left Call of Duty to make better Call of Duty. They made Titanfall. And better Call of Duty was not capable of dethroning Call of Duty. It shows how hopeless it is to go up against Call of Duty. Hopefully things will change over time, but... Wait, who said Titanfall is a poor man's Call of Duty? Nobody said that, surely not. No, nobody would have said that. Anyway, Titanfall was very good. Yeah. Which devs are doing the new COD? Kayak or Raven or Sledgehammer? I don't follow COD, so I can't remember. I can't remember. I'm not looking forward to it. I will play it. People will make me play it, I'm sure. I will play it because it will be on Game Pass. I'll play Modern Warfare 3 when it goes on Game Pass, but probably only once. Probably only once. Joe said, COD is a poor man's Titanfall. Well, that's fair. COD is a poor man's Titanfall since Titanfall came out. Apart from the poor man's bit, because, you know, COD's not cheap. But it's not cheap in terms of buying it, and it's not cheap in terms of development and all the rest of it. So. COD is a wealthy publisher's Titanfall. None of that makes sense. No, it's not going anywhere. Joe's right. That's good of you to say, Chronic, but no, it didn't make any sense. You missed Prop Hunt. Dunno. Can't remember the mode names. Demon Hunter mentioned earlier the Lawbreakers game from Cliffy B. That was quite fun. I was not excellent at it, but I was not terrible at it either. That had quite challenging movement because you had little thrusters on. It was an anti-gravity game that was quite fast. I actually can't remember the movement mechanics. I remember some characters being able to use their boots to propel themselves backwards. Don't remember much else about it. Some characters might have had grappling hooks, but it was an anti-gravity game and it was entertaining, and it flopped hard and disappeared. I'm sure many of you know of Lawbreakers and the story behind it, but it might be possible to play it again soon because someone has picked it up. Someone is trying to bring Lawbreakers back. COD is a rich man's abomination of old COD. That's fair, Lethal Migraine. I would not argue against that. Episode 13, you nearly threw your phone into space. That's impressive. Try a second time, see what happens. Chronic, you missed old COD, COD 3 and Black Ops 1. That was the best time for COD. I didn't play those. I did not play those. I played Call of Duty 2 on the Xbox 360 at launch. Single player campaign, 1,000 achievement points. It was a good time. But when I say I don't play COD, I don't mean I've literally never fired one up. I have fired up many Call of Duty games, but I've never played any of them for more than like 20 minutes. They've not landed well for me. You love Titanfall 1, you don't know why, but you didn't enjoy Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 still had, like, the issue that I have with COD mostly is discerning friend from foe, and this is a me issue, not a problem with the game. Like, I'm sure most people are just fine with it, but I need my enemies to be bright green, not to have a little dot above their head. And Titanfall had that, and it had cloak, like proper stealth as well, and bullshit like that I wasn't interested in. But it just had really good movement, right? Guns felt nice, and the movement felt really good. So it did those things right, but. Pete, still on your relaxing Saturday, I hope. Good. Titanfall didn't even have a campaign. How can you compare it? Well, that's an easy answer, Tony. You compared the multiplayer modes directly. You can compare things that have some differences. You can compare the things that, like, where they are aligned and where they contrast. That's fine. Comparisons, people are more scared of them than they should be. I say that, obviously some people use them or assign far more weight to them than they should do as well. So as with all things, that goes every direction depending on what people's silly agendas are. But you only care for Titanfall 2, never cared for multiplayer. Tony, you play Overwatch 2 all the time. How can you be sitting there like, oh, I don't play multiplayer, I've only got 8 million hours in Overwatch 2? Huh? No, I don't want to fall out with you because, you know, that'll make Battle Block Theatre much harder at 9 o'clock, but you're speaking nonsense right now. Nonsense. Multiplayer on Titanfall never cared. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. The mechs were fun as well. Obviously, it had that going for it. That set it apart from Call of Duty in other ways. But same as COD, no strategy. Don't know. Tony's good at Overwatch 2. He plays it a lot. And having played Concord today, it did make me think I want to play Overwatch 2. Oh, I'll tell you what. So, Chronic, you asked earlier about the OLED thing. I did treat myself to a TV upgrade. I've spoken of it many, many times. The need to get, well, not the need because that's the wrong word, but the desire to have a better TV. And I figured as I've got a job, I haven't started getting paid for it yet, but you know, you can defer payments. So if I just like defer payments for 3 or 4 months, I'll be able to afford a TV in that time. So I might as well grab it sooner. So yes, I'm playing fancy OLED mode. I've finally got the 42-inch OLED, which is the reason that I played Doom, funnily enough. 120 frames per second, gorgeous. Which is why, if you remember, I was doing the various testing on streams to capture variable refresh rate, 120 frames per second games, and make sure that they presented smoothly enough for a stream. Yeah. Does like everything's looking brilliant on it. So LG, yeah, I got can't remember if it was a 23 or 24 model, to be honest, but yeah, the 42-inch LG, which is all I need because I sit pretty close to it, so I don't need bigger than 42-inch. And actually, I almost ended up with 2 of them. There's a bit of a disaster around the ordering, but yes, I now have that. So that's a treat, at least for the next 3 months until I have to pay for it, and then we'll see if I still feel good about it. LG OLED TVs are gorgeous, absolutely. In the other room, I've got a 2016 LG OLED TV, so really crusty and old now, and this is to reassure anyone that's worried about screen burn and stuff like that. The other one is still like pretty pristine condition, no issues with it at all, still gorgeous. So yeah, got that. Next I'm gonna have to pay for it, and then I'll start saving up for, you know, like a PS5 Pro. That'll be exciting too. New VR headsets, new PC when the 50 series come out. There's many things to try and save up for, and I've not got like a well-paid job, so it's going to be a grind to try and get all the things that I want, but more so than I was able to before. So playing on an OLED this gen felt like as big a jump as the consoles did, maybe more. I think like, yeah, they can make a big difference visually, but also you are combining that with 60 frames per second. If you were going from previous gen, there were obviously some games that were already doing it, but it being a common thing makes a massive difference. HDR makes all the difference. HDR, I would say I would like that to be true. I don't think it's true that often. I think the vast majority of the games don't use it well. When you get exceptions, then it's brilliant. But you can go and play something like The Ascent is a good example. You go and play The Ascent on an OLED on your Series X or PC or whatever it will be, and you will not want for color or brightness or anything like that just because it's SDR. And then you've got, like, there's an awful lot of people that are very happy with the HDR on their PlayStation 5s, and there's no point trying to explain to them that actually what they've got isn't HDR at all. Like, there's a lot of games. The Kena Bridge of Spirits was one. I saw people like, whoa, there's uploads on YouTube, like, look at this game in HDR. Game doesn't support HDR. People don't know what they're looking at. PlayStation will make the TV tell you you're playing an HDR game, but it does not support HDR in any capacity. It's just very colourful. But then you get the good ones. What's a good example? I would say, it upsets people to say it sometimes, but PlayStation's first party are normally very good with HDR. Completely absent from Concord though, which is unusual, but most PlayStation first party games do it very well because they seem to use their cinematic expertise to color grade things, which is good. Most Xbox first party games, like Gears 5 uses it very, very well. Sea of Thieves uses it very, very well. So, like, I think it was a bit of a mess on Forza, so that's not a good example, but yeah, it's a little bit all over the place, HDR, and I hear some people, like ACG doesn't like HDR and thinks that the TV industry needs to move away from it entirely because it's too messy. I wouldn't go that far because I think it's often brilliant, and it can be really, really good, but also I think some people do underestimate how good things look without it as well. If that makes sense. Or maybe that's not even fair. I would say maybe people overestimate how much is actually being mastered with that level of color in the first place. The development industry doesn't seem to particularly work in HDR as default. And to be fair, if you've ever fired up like Unity or Unreal Engine and all the rest of it, you can see why not, right? It's just not really a factor when you're beginning to make something. But Cyberpunk with HDR is very nice. Is it, Chronic? Cyberpunk HDR was fucked for years. There was a period of time when they sort of fixed it, where it still turned out a lot like it was better with auto HDR than actually using the game's HDR settings. But I think they did eventually make a better job of it. So if you played it more recently, I think the HDR probably does work. But it was a mess when it came out. It was a mess. Tony, got to get those settings right. It's very nice with dark scenes. Well, that's more, so the dark scenes thing is more to do with OLED rather than HDR, right? Because you can do dark scenes on normal dynamic range quite well. But yes, OLEDs are brilliant. OLEDs make everything else really pop. It's hard to play on anything else after everything looks washed out in comparison. So a lot of that is influenced by your room lighting as well. So particularly if you're in a dark room, OLED beats out everything by a country mile. But if you're in a bright room, other technologies like claw back a little bit of the difference. Just a bit, but Red Dead Redemption 2 was dreadful at launch. Red Dead Redemption 2, yeah, it's got weird modes in it now, isn't it? It's got game mode and cinematic mode. And one of them doesn't look like it's utilizing the technology at all, and one of them does. But minimum pixel drag is a big deal. Yeah. Because that changes the like perceived resolution when things are in motion, keeps things much nicer and crisper. It is a good technology indeed. Lethal Migraine, your PC monitor is 1080p but 240 Hz refresh rate, so everything looks great. I've never played above the 144. I did notice, so when I was playing Doom 2016, just managed to confirm for myself that it's not just like a placebo, the difference between 60 and 120, because on Doom 2016, when you go into certain scenes, like they're not entirely cutscenes because you're still in control and you can still look around, but you go into certain scenes where like what's her face, Olivia, will suddenly appear to do bits and pieces or whatever, and the game for some reason locks those scenes to 60 frames per second, and it was immediately noticeable. Like everything was still fast and responsive, but it wasn't +3 anymore. That jump from 120 to 60, so that was good. At the same time, I've been playing Final Fantasy Rebirth at 30. I can adjust to things really, but for shooting stuff, I definitely appreciate the change of TV. Might even play Overwatch 2 with Tony and be able to shoot some stuff. Probably not. Anyone buying 360 games before they close the shop? I still so need to get that hooked up and look at the store and do that. I hope so. Painful Discourse, I hope that I do. I should. Nah, my 360 is a pain in the ass to hook up. So, I don't know. Does anyone know off the top of their head when the 360 store closes? 8:05. Let's do, while that question is floating around about when the store closes, because we're getting towards the end of July, and I think it is sometime in July that it closes, isn't it? So that's real soon. While that's all playing out, let's go through topics of the week. Are there any topics this week that people care to talk about? We've got... Not really. The FTC complaint about Microsoft, I don't really give a shit, that's boring. Some Xbox people talking about marketing, don't really give a shit, that's boring. 29th of July is when the 360 store closes. Has anyone got any big recommendations that you think like I should really go and pick up before the store closes? I want 99 Nights. It's not a good game, but it sounded good. And I kind of enjoyed it. And I want it because it's not back compat. There was a 99 Nights 2 as well that I never played, so if I were to fire it up, I would try and pick both of those up. Not saying that everybody else should go and get them, because like they're not good games particularly. But I enjoyed them. Space Marine, that's not a bad shout. You can get Space Marine on PC as well though, right? What's the best show? I'll buy the best show. TJF, football college selling 2 million plus. Wait, football college. I'm going over this a few times. Bear with me a second, TJ. Football college selling 2 million plus at $100. These numbers, how will publishers react? What's football college? Is that a game? So they've sold 2 million copies of football college. I've never heard of football college. How will publishers react? Oh, okay, NCAA is like college football, right? This is a weird thing to me because college sports make no sense to me. I don't understand what's going on in America. I don't know what it means. Like, you literally just get a load of teenagers to play sports and that's popular, or is that not what it means? I've got no idea what college football is. You hear the term all the time. They're not teenagers necessarily, so what are they doing at college? Like, I know you can go to college at any age, but what? High school sports are massive in the US too. Before it didn't make sense, but now they do get paid. Not sure about that. Like, I'm not calling you a liar. I believe you that they get paid, but I'm not sure why that exists. They're students who want to be professional athletes. Okay. They get the attention they need to launch a career. Like, what? Supporting college teams, but can you imagine that in the UK, Pete? Like, why would you go and watch a college football team? You wouldn't. And I mean college football team like a soccer team. That's just weird. Weird to me. Colleges or brands or making money off of them before. Okay. Yeah. Chronic, back on the actual topic, you'll say the FTC's Xbox response said the price increase was justified due to Call of Duty and other games being added to the services. But you're sure Xbox told the FTC the price wouldn't go up because of COD? Exactly, yeah. It's not a good response. I'm sure they said that as well. You know, I know people don't like the FTC and they don't want them to get in the way. I think it's nice to have regulators at least try to rein in corporations. That doesn't do us any harm. I don't care that the FTC are wasting money because I'm not American. Don't pay my taxes over there. I don't care if they win or lose. But, you know, having an entity that's like, please don't charge too much for Game Pass isn't going to do us any harm in the long term. Whatever. Boring. What happened 10 years ago, a basketball player named Ed O'Bannon sued the NCAA and DA for using their likenesses without compensation and ended up winning the lawsuit. So the use of people's likenesses is fine. Like, understand the legal case there. And I'm assuming, so the NCAA would have been the guys running the college association playing football, and they profited off of the likenesses of, presumably some of these are children, right? Like, I know you can go to college, you can be 20, 21, whatever, but presumably it also includes like 17-year-olds and stuff. So that also gets a bit weird with the use of likenesses, but I don't know. None of it makes sense to me. None of it needs to make sense to me. None of it needs to make sense to me. Is it normal or common for college football players to progress into real football? Or do they just like keep taking additional college courses into their 40s so that they can keep playing with the children? I don't get it. I don't get it. 17 plus mostly is the rule. Do you American people that are here follow a college team? It's to get scouted, but I guess the weird thing that, I mean, we probably have college teams here. We definitely have school teams here. I don't know where the rest of the world does their scouting, but they don't seem to struggle with it. Anyway, it's fine. Even then, like, so we have college leagues, we have school leagues, we have junior teams and all the rest of it. And I can understand why talent scouts would be interested in those. But I don't understand why other people are interested in those. It's weird. It's weird. You knew some people who did cheerleading at uni in London and they were allowed to stay in the group for 2 or 3 years after graduating. He was listening in on their discussion of if they should. Yes, Pete. Yeah. James, that's fine. You can be busy with your in-laws. I hope it's like not the famous kind of having a terrible time with the in-laws. I hope you get along well with your in-laws, and being busy is not awful. Isn't the NFL draft players picked from college football teams? Oh, maybe. Maybe. Generally, I also, this is just me and not a thing that anybody should be offended by, but I don't really enjoy watching sports that I don't like actively partake in. Is that true? Yeah, probably. That probably is true. No, that's not true. It can be some, I'm sure. I'd watch some proper gladiator combat or something with the lions and stuff. I wouldn't want to partake in that, but it could be entertaining to watch. Sports also, they lose their luster when they become what it sounds like college football is. They lose their luster when they become driven by money. And I understand clubs need to be run as businesses and all the rest of it. And I used to like football. In the UK, I used to watch football and enjoy it. I used to go to the games with my dad and all the rest of it. It was a nice bonding experience in that sense. Like, it had some meaning and some depth to it, and the clubs had some identity about them, and it was cool in a sense. And then at some point, quite a while ago, like, billionaires came in and bought the clubs and ran them as actual profitable businesses or as playthings for their own ego or whatever else it may be. there was no longer anything remotely close to an identity for any of those clubs, and it just became like, yeah. It's also very difficult for sports to like maintain any level of integrity, and you can watch football and stuff and people talk about players falling over all the time. Totally understand why the game has become that, but it's not fun to watch. So, you know, that's sports. I'll just play video games instead. I say I like sports in terms of participation, but not so much in terms of spectating it, I don't think. Anyway, Stephen, you used to enjoy playing some sports that you couldn't stand watching, like cricket or golf. Yeah, I couldn't watch cricket or golf. I can understand that. But the other way around though, Stephen, can you get like people that would watch cricket and wouldn't play it? Yeah, because that's such a piss up, isn't it? Cricket and golf and stuff like that are famously just like piss ups. You don't need to enjoy the sport to watch it. Yeah, it's a complicated mess. Complicated mess. Maybe I should stop talking about sports because, you know, it's not my arena. Let's do... my TV turned off. Let's do the other topics. There aren't any other topics. There might have been things happening, but like I say, I don't know. I like playing games more than following brand news and all the rest of it, so I don't have a lot. I don't even know if there's been much brand news. You find esports better to watch. Esports are also fairly difficult to present nicely. I've not watched any of them as such, but that's the same Gaming with Passion. I could totally understand why it would be more interesting to watch an esport of a game that you actively play yourself, that you have that like insight into, to see how other people are handling situations that you're familiar with is gonna make those more interesting to me. Whereas I wouldn't want to watch esports players who are playing a game that I've never touched. Same as real sports, like it's not that meaningful at that point. But Tony, you don't like watching esports. You don't watch the Overwatch championships or whatever. I never have watched them, so I couldn't really answer. Anyway, let's do... I think I need to wait for Isla to get back before we start putting the questions up. But Isla, give me a little like nudge when you are back. Don't say anything in Discord because I've got no headphones and I won't hear you. But a little nudge on the chat and then I'll... But take your time, it's not a huge hurry. I don't know. Wait, what? I'm reading those before they come through. I like watching Tony play against Steven. Been through this. Tony did not carry me through that game. I was an active participant. And I'm not going to say competent, but I was active. Took your earphone out for a second and got confused. That is confusing. Yeah, if you are back and able to put the first question up, then I will move on to those. Then question Thursday. Why? What answers did I give you on Thursday? Lethal migraine? I'm not sure I did. Why anything? I don't bloody know. The only esport you watch is me playing Motorsport on Community Day. That definitely doesn't qualify as an esport. You literally took your earphone out for a second. Good. I'm glad that's feasible. I believe you. Tony has asked, why do each generation hold back gaming innovation? First, it was arcades are for losers and drug addicts. Then consoles at home is a waste of time, go outside. And now streaming is not a job. I don't know, are they wrong, Tony? Are they wrong? I'm on their side. Sorry, Tony. And I'm spanning all of the generations. Arcades are for losers and drug addicts, absolutely. Especially as they're all closed down now, so who else would be there? Consoles at home are a waste of time. Absolutely. Wasting time is something we should cherish our capacity to do. It's very important. So I don't take that one as a negative, really. Like, yeah, I love that. Waste of time, perfect. Everyone needs a good, wholesome waste of time. And streaming is not a job. Well, that's all right. Streaming obviously definitely can be a job. And it definitely can be a hobby as well. So yeah, I'm across the board, across all the generations. I take all of those stances that you're presumably against. Yeah. Do you know what else I find? I was thinking hypothetically. No, in fact, I'm not even going to go into that hypothetical. It's too much. It's too much. Arcades are for losers and drug addicts. So you went to the arcade all the time. Love hanging out with losers, not so much the drug addict crowd. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't. Arcades were a place where I would definitely go, but they were quite small scale things when I was a teen. The ones that were remotely local to me, and there wasn't a big arcade community. There wasn't the stuff the Iron Lords do, where you like put your money down and challenge everyone there for a game of Tekken or Street Fighter or whatever. None of that kind of culture. But if I could get my friends onto a multiplayer game of Daytona, we'd chuck some pound coins in for a bit. Yeah. But the closest thing to an arcade experience I had would have been Sega World at the Trocadero, because that was Game Pass. It wasn't Game Pass, but you'd pay on the door, and then everything inside was available to play as much as you wanted. Didn't go there often, only like 2 or 3 times, but oh, it was fun. It was fun. We're having words. Are we, Tony? Are we? Good. I like some words. Not all words. Some words I really don't like, but we can have words. Let's say that I've answered that question. I've confused myself now. I don't know what's going on. Let's do the next one. So Shady, have I played Concord at all yet? If so, what do I think? Yeah, I did. I played it. Streamed it before this. Not for very long, and I'm not very good at it, and I don't like it. Have you played Concord, So Shady? It's I was going to say technically like all clean and fine. Actually, I had lots of troubles across the first couple of games. One technical issue, one social issue. The first game that I had gave me the little red, like, you've got connection issues thing, and everything kept sticking and freezing and misbehaving. So that wasn't encouraging as a starting point. I had a couple of games that did that. I only played the thing for an hour or so, and I had technical issues in 2 games. The second game that I played, I just ran around an empty map because 4 out of the 5 people on the other team left. So that was also, it's hard to fault the game for it, but it wasn't fun. Then Demon Hunter came along, and we had some games that people stuck around for, and I was mostly bad at it, but that's my fault. It feels very slow. Again, that's not necessarily bad, but felt very slow. Yeah, it's not for me, I don't think. It's weird because like there's a part of me that desperately wants to cling to a multiplayer game and play it properly and get decent at it. It's an unsatisfied part that's just gonna get suppressed. I was terrible at it. And it's hard to hold that against a game. Me being terrible at something doesn't mean it's a good or bad game. But it didn't hook me at all, really. Did not hook me. But at the end of the hour, the last minute of the whole hour, that part was fun. Stephen Southwick, you don't think arcades have ever been as big a thing in the UK as in the US or Japan? You think most people in the UK associate arcades with the seaside? Yeah, I'm hesitant to say that. That's my view of it. Like, it's never been a big thing for me culturally, but I'm hesitant to say it because I definitely don't speak for the whole of the UK. They're not really a big part of my childhood, and there are other people who played them more than good for them. But for me, so I've said before as well, like console wars were not a big part of my childhood. And there's a lot of people in the UK who would say they were a thing. Bowling alley, yes, Isla, we have that kind of thing. There's a reasonable sized one there, isn't there? But it's different. Like that arcade came about after arcades had stopped being a thing. Where, like, if you go back a little bit further in time to before that appeared, the likes of Sega were primarily arcade companies. Their biggest and best games were arcade games that then may come to a console if you're lucky at some point. No, you were alive. You just weren't paying attention. Next question, please. Arcades are popping up again inside bars. Yeah, that kind of scenario is making more sense. Play Age of Mythology remake with you? No. Next question, please. I don't have time for Age of Mythology remake. My wife also asked if I would play that, but no, I think it's going to be more of a campaign game. I'm not sure when the multiplayer would get. I don't even know when I'm going to get to play the campaign thing. Look, I said no. I didn't mean no. It might be possible. I need to have a think about like what modes are suitable and what will be fun. Wait a minute. I'm eating Chinese food. Guess my order. Oh no, I don't know. You got like vegetable spring rolls. That's the only thing that you can eat. And you got egg fried rice. And what else do they have? What else do they have from Chinese place that you would eat? No, you're eating a weird salad. Your feels are hurty. Don't feel hurt. There's lots of games that hopefully we'll be able to play, right? You're very welcome to play all of the games. Age of Mythology is just it's a long game, and I don't know. I'm struggling for time in general, so. Chestnut stuff, yeah. You got any like crunchy water chestnuts? I don't reckon chow mein. I don't reckon chow mein. No, she doesn't like pasta, so chow mein's too close to pasta. But Adam's Family Pinball ruined arcades. It's the only machine anyone wanted to play. Really, I've never come across Adam's Family Pinball before. What was so good about it? Why did anyone want to play it? Oh, you got vegetable chow mein? Okay, I was wrong. That's weird. Okay, fine. Fine. I was very wrong. Why do you like chow mein but not like pasta? It's your decision. You can like whatever you want to like. That's fine. That's what I mean. The texture's the same. It's not the same. It's the same. It's the same. They're tolerable. Maybe you like pasta more than you realise. They could be a little bit more firm, maybe. Next question, please. Unless you've got more order. I'm not going to guess any more order. You just have to say what you've got. But play Minecraft with me sometime. Yeah, I'm going to do that one. And I'm going to, I still need to play that one apart from you as well. You can play at the same time, but I need to not follow you at some point. I had been saying like that was supposed to happen a while ago. I was just going to go on there and play it some. I played so little and had so little time. I'll try. Spring rolls and chow mein, so you've not got any rice. Fair enough. Pete, Q&A, a unique format. It may have happened by accident or not. Really enjoyable, even though you mostly miss the new time. It's your favourite. You hope that I keep doing it. Promote it, not hide it. Well, Pete, I'm never going to promote it. I'm never going to promote it. But current plan is to keep doing it, yes. Don't know if the format is unique. I don't explore the internet that thoroughly. I'm sure there's some other people that talk. And that's essentially all this is just talking, having a conversation. So probably get loads of that if you go onto like Twitch or something. But it was the perfect pinball machine. Tons of power-ups and extra balls. With 1 quarter, you could play for quite a while, and it was really fun. The machine came out in March 1992. Still is $5,000 or more. Fair enough. My mum used to tell me she played a lot of pinball machines at some point. But me, I've touched very few of them. Very few of them. Played Sonic Spinball, if that counts. And Pinball FX2 in VR. That's very nice. Pete, you love physical pinball. I believe you. I do. I do. I guess when Stephen was saying that arcades here are often associated with the beach and stuff, there were a lot of pinball machines in that kind of arcade. A lot of pinball machines there as well. But you're not hungry anymore because you've already eaten, not because... I hope you're enjoying it anyway. Balls of Steel on the Atari ST. That's the correct name for a pinball game. That is the correct name. Let's do the next question, please. It's the light gun games you remember most. You think your kids would love playing them? Yeah, I had 2 light guns at home. The same thing applied, like light gun games did get home conversions. You didn't get the Time Crisis pedal particularly, but Virtua Cop and House of the Dead and all that kind of stuff. But the home versions, the home light gun technology, every time you fired, the screen did that white flash, which was a lot to take in, but doubly as much to take in when you were playing it 2-player with someone else. Or if you were just deciding to dual wield because you're a prick and you had 2 guns and 2 hands. Yeah, seizure material that was, but it was fun. This is new, or did you already? Wait, what's new? Who already did what? Oh no, Pete's question. Yeah, we've read Pete's compliment. I appreciate it. Thank you, Pete. I said I will not be promoting it because I'm like the anti-Twitter person. Twitter's just filled with people that want attention, and I don't want attention, so I just don't say anything. And that's the extent of my promotion. I'm fine with this smaller scale. Nice conversation. There used to be a lot of cafes that had pinball in the UK. And then you've got some Dungeons and Dragons. You had to roll a Dungeons and Dragons dice. I don't know what 62.5p means otherwise. So it's a Dungeons and Dragons dice to me. You had to roll a dice, and if you made your Constitution saving throw, then you were allowed a game of pinball. That sounds amazing, Pete. Sounds amazing. Time Crisis arcade machine has taken a lot of money. Love that machine. Oh, it's taken a lot of your money. You played it a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I had a friend played it a lot. He would get through the entirety of the game on the pound coin through playing it a lot. I got most of the way through it as well. That was a decent one. The pedal did add a lot, even though I liked my Virtua Cop and House of the Dead. Shooting melons in Virtua Cop, that's what I like to do. Promotion time? Absolutely not, Tony. That's it. We're out of questions. Ran out of questions, and we've got 25 minutes until the next thing is due to happen. Tony, I'll talk to you on Discord about getting the other thing going. That is fine. Hey, might need to get off this damn chair for a little bit before we start Battle Block Theatre. For the sake of the butt comfort. This chair's horrible. Or maybe that'll be one of the things that I replace at some point. That's exciting. For the days of Fruitgate. Wait a minute, am I not supposed to shoot melons anymore, Chronic? Duck Hunt was the best light gun game. Duck Hunt was not the best light gun game. Duck Hunt was the best light gun game when there were no other light gun games. So I can give you that, but that's as far as I can allow that to go. Because you can't put Duck Hunt above the likes of House of the Dead and Nah. Duck Hunt was a 2-player game. The second player could control the ducks or whatever it was. Yeah, nobody did that. Nobody did that. The Aerosmith Shooter arcade game got a lot of your coins too. I never came across that. A comfy leather office chair. I'm not sure about leather because I'll stick to it. A comfy kind of mesh office chair. Definitely, like, I know office chair over gaming chair or whatever, but... No, Chronic, you can't. Duck Hunt, I'm not trying to downplay Duck Hunt, right? By all means, it was a home light gun game, so it gets props for that. But that's as far as I can go, right? A duck flies across the screen and you shoot it, you get 10 shots or whatever it was. No, that does not stand above. No, Chronic, no. Look, I like you, I respect you, but no, we're not putting Duck Hunt above all other light gun games. No more so than we're putting Tetris above. What's your favourite game, Chronic? I want to use that. I know Elden Ring's not your favourite game, but we're not putting Tetris above Elden Ring. Some people would argue that you can. Those people are wrong. Those people are wrong. You missed game manuals. They're an art form in themselves. Could have been, especially after a point in time when they realised that it was worth being creative with them rather than just giving a deadpan dry instruction. But anyway, that's the end. I'm gonna press the end button. This is the end. We've reached the end. In gonna say 20 minutes time. I haven't confirmed with Tony. It might be a little bit sooner. It might be a little bit later. Might be not at all. But hopefully we're going to be having a little go at Battle Block Theatre in about 20 minutes. So buckle your pants and hopefully I'll see you then.